After three massive moves, the Los Angeles Clippers might be a top 3 team in the league next season. If you're new around here, make sure to subscribe. I drop regular NBA analysis content and film deep dives, and if you haven't already, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. It helps with the algorithm so much. Now, I want to make this video for a while, first after the John Collins trade, but then the Bradley Beal and Chris Paul signings felt pretty imminent, so I figured I'd wait, and man, I'm so glad I did, because this is one of the best off seasons in recent memory that didn't include trading for or trading away a superstar or star caliber player, right? The thing is, they didn't need any more star power. We saw what Kawhi Leonard and James Harden were doing at the end of last year. We saw what they could be. What this team needed was depth and backups for each of these stars, given how injury-prone their roster is. And they've knocked that out of the park, signing one of the best backup forwards in the league in John Collins, signing Bradley Beal, who, worst comes to worst, can play some point guard, and Chris Paul, who is a solid backup at this point of his career. They also added Brook Lopez in free agency, which I really liked. The biggest buzzword around the league over the last 6 months has been optionality. To be successful, you need to have plenty of lineup versatility. I mean, you look at the Knicks, right, last season. That team was built to beat Boston. Now, whether they could have done that if Boston was healthy, I'm not going to debate that right now, right? The thing is, they faced them around early, they beat them, but now you're faced with the team in the conference finals and the Pacers that you don't match up all that well against. And the same thing happened to Minnesota a couple of seasons ago. With these moves, the Clippers now have two very good centers and a very good small ball option in John Collins, all of whom provide different skill sets and values. At the shooting guard spot, they've added Bradley Beal, pushing Bogdan Bogdanovic to a backup spot and Amir Coffey into a third string role. All of these players are very legitimate NBA players, and in Beal's case, a very good one. All of them provide different skill sets and values. In adding Chris Paul and Bradley Beal, the Clippers now have so many options at point guard. It's really exciting, man, to go with James Harden and an all-defense caliber guard in Chris Dunn. All these players, again, provide different but equally elite skill sets. And of course, in adding John Collins, the Clippers now have a legitimate offensive weapon backing up Kawhi Leonard, who we can expect to miss at least 30 games, right? But don't forget, the Clippers also have one of the best defensive forwards in the league in Derrick Jones Jr. Not only does this team have a loaded offense, but with not a single net negative on that end, not named Chris Dunn, who just happens to be one of the best defensive guards in the league. I also expect them to be one of the league's premier defenses, with names like Zubac, Leonard, Dunn, Jones Jr., and Brook Lopez, even if he isn't quite what he used to be. Now, I'd expect to see this be a primarily drop coverage defense. We saw Ty Lue turn to that scheme consistently last year, and Zubac really excelled in that role. And now that they've added Brook Lopez as his backup, I can see them stepping that up again, right? Brook Lopez was one of the premier drop coverage bigs in the league just a couple of years ago, and he can still give it to you in small stretches. Now, with a team whose best player is more than likely going to miss 30 games, I don't think this team finishes a top 3 seed in the West next season. But with that said, if this team can make it to the playoffs somewhat healthy, which isn't as outrageous as it sounds, given this is the team with the most depth in the Kawhi era, I do think they are the clear best third team in the league, behind the Thunder and the Rockets. Now, I can see a debate between the Clippers and the Nuggets for that third spot, and I'm not mad at either, right? I mean, you could even maybe throw the Knicks in there, or the Cavs in there, but personally for me, if they can get to the playoffs 80%, 90%, I think they're the clear third best team in the league. That's all I've got for today. Thanks for tuning in, and make sure to drop a comment, whether it's in relation to the video, the Clippers, or general feedback. Of course, I'm new to this, so anything is appreciated, and I'll catch you guys next time.